A new commenter asked for it. And I like to give my commenters what they ask for if I can. So today is going to be part one of a two-part first look at Teal Swan. What is up, you heathens and demons, you beautiful, blasphemous people? Welcome back to The Raging Atheist. I'm your boy, Nakasuchi, and today we're going to be looking at somebody new. Now, at first I was like, I'm going to throw her in the cult bunnies, but the cult bunnies is kind of reserved for Christians. You know, that's a Christian thing. So I'm like, I'm not going to put this chick in the cult bunnies. Maybe I'll put her in the Crazy Cult series. And then I'm like, well, I don't really have any proof that she has like an actual following. Like, this isn't an actual cult. From what I get, this chick is like a spirit trainer, a life coach. People pay her large amounts of money to teach them a bunch of bullshit. You know, it's a con, it's a hustle. So it couldn't really go into Crazy Cults. So I'm just going to throw this up outside of one of my series, and we're going to talk about Teal Swan. Now, I checked out her channel based on a comment by a new commenter. And I usually, you know, if somebody says I need to check something out, I'll check it out and then I'll decide if I actually want to do something on it. And I was kind of back and forth because this isn't the usual type of thing that I cover. And then I'm like, fuck it, why not cover this? You know, and why not get it out of there and be open and upfront about my stance as an atheist when it comes to spirituality. Now, if I'm going to be openly honest about spirituality, I'm going to tell you that I think it's as silly as religion. You know, it's as silly as a belief in God. But I don't think it's as harmful. I think it's fairly harmless, and just being open and truthful. Recently, most of the women I date tend to be, you know, what I would call new generation hippies and very spiritual women. Because, you know, I dated liberal Christians for a while and it never really worked out. The great love of my life is liberal Christian, and one of the reasons I think that we're apart is the fact that I'm not a Christian. I think she has a big problem with that, even though she doesn't admit that. So I tend to date these spiritual people. There's just not very many open atheists in my community. And I often think it's cute when a woman is, you know, into spirituality and into incense and smoking pot and talking about the universe. And, you know, I love those conversations. And yeah, I think like if you think that some spirit rules the universe, there's no evidence for that. But there's really no evidence against it either. So, you know, I tend to be a lot more accepting of a spiritual person. And so when I started watching Teal Swan's channel, you know, I didn't really have a lot of beefs. I thought some of it was crazy. And I was back and forth on whether I was actually going to go at her. And I'm not going to lie, as I'm watching her videos, she exudes a sexuality that I appreciate. Now, if you know me in real life, people that know me will tell you that I tend to be attracted to bitchy personalities. And Teal Swan exudes bitchiness. She exudes sexuality. So I am attracted to her as a woman. You know, and I'm not going to hide that fact. And the snide intelligence that she tries to portray, I think, is a defense mechanism to kind of keep people away. But it's also, I think, highly contrived for her trade. I think that she has to present herself as above everybody, so she can be taken legitimately when she tells you how to become above everybody. You know, and I was through a couple videos and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go at her ideology. I wasn't sure if I found this ideology to be harmful. And then I came across this video.
As people, we are obsessed with equality. You can see this on an individual level and also on a social level. After all, most human rights movements are about this. But what if only our ego is what is concerned with equality? And more than that, what if equality is complete illusion?
Now, I'm going to warn you that I take huge issue with this philosophy. I take huge issue with this justification. You know, I am a person that since I came out of the South and I tore that rebel flag down, I progressed to the left and I progressed into the fight for equality. One of the things I do here on The Raging Atheist is I'm trying to normalize atheism, right? I'm trying to create a community for myself of atheists. I'm trying to fight that fight of equality for atheists. You know, and I fight the fight of equality for gay people, and I believe that humans are equal, that humans have merit. So I'm going to take issue, even though I am attracted to this woman, and some of the things she says, I'm like, it's not so bad. I'm going to take huge fucking issue with this.
Your ego is essentially nothing more than a self-concept. It is your concept of yourself as an individualized and defined self.
So I'm not going to take issue with what she just said right there. Ego is ego. I'm not going to look up the definition. Her definition sounds acceptable to me. I am going to take issue with what was written. Not all people are equal, whatever the fuck it just said. Now, I am going to get it right out of the good goddamn way that I understand that she is a life coach, she's a spiritual trainer, and her mission is to get paid by people and make them believe that they're better people for it, that they are now better human beings than other people because of the lessons she's giving. So she has to, you know, create this masquerade about what equality is or is not. And I got to take issue with it because this justification is dangerous. This justification is misguided. And this is a simple con job. This is a simple, you know, hustle to make money and doing damage to a major cause for the progression of the human race.
It is I, me, and mine. Anything you identify with will become a part of your ego. The process of socialization teaches us that there are certain things that are good to be and certain things that are bad to be. And if you are those things that are bad to be, there are consequences that most of us are not willing or capable of facing. And this is where your blind spots come in. You tend to be unaware of or suppress from your conscious mind any aspects of self that you would see as bad.
Alright, so right there, everything she is saying up to the very end is true, but it's no-brainer shit. It's duh shit, like duh. But she's trying to make herself sound really smart as she says it. Right? And then she's going to get into the part that's not true. Like we are not capable of seeing the bad things about ourselves. Well, let me just dispel that notion right fucking now. I am a human being. And I do have this glorified version of myself. I do think that I am better than other people when it comes to some things. Like when it comes to writing and creating stories. I think I'm better than most human beings when it comes to that. I am superior to most human beings when it comes to creating a good story. But I am also able to recognize that I am worse at some shit. I am bad. It's just outright bad at some shit. I am bad at money. I am bad at life. I am bad at fucking holding a career. You know, like I am a nonconformist. That's a bad thing. And I understand that about myself. And the fact that she's saying that we can't understand these bad things about ourselves is the lie that she's selling. We can all understand this shit. We can all see it. We might not admit it, but we can all see it.
Not only that, we will perceive ourselves to be prevented from what we want. After all, we want the job. We don't want them to get the job. It's understandable because this dynamic causes such extreme pain. Why then we begin to fight for equality and more than that, superiority.
And here's her first justification against the fight for equality. You know, is that we're not really fighting for equality because equality is a fucking illusion. We're fighting for superiority. So, you know, when I fight for the equality of homosexual people to have the same equal rights to marry, I am doing so because I feel like that makes me superior to other people. It's not fucking true. It's just not. I mean, that is painting the worst possible picture of every human being with a cause. You know, like, every human being fighting for equality is not fighting for superiority. They are indeed fighting for equality.
So it begins this very subconscious mission to knock anything that we see as higher than us, better than us, off of its pedestal, and to try to find a higher pedestal than it. We don't just fight for equality, we fight for superiority.
What she just said was complete and utter mumbo jumbo. Complete and utter, projection. She's trying to make the reality she's speaking seem like reality when in fact it is not. I'm fairly certain that people that are against abortion, most people, don't have some hidden agenda of superiority. Now, I will say that I think that the religious beliefs behind most of their motivations can be something of a superiority complex. But I think that they genuinely just don't like fucking abortion. I think the thought of abortion is appalling to them. I don't knock them that. I don't knock them. Even if I stand in opposition to their belief system, I can't knock them for thinking killing little babies is a bad thing.
The entire multi-billion-dollar tabloid industry is built on this dynamic. It makes us feel equal to or better than the stars that because of their significance, fame, money, or looks we feel unequal to. One thing that we have to see is that we only care about equality when we feel less than something.
Again, she's making no sense. It's not based in reality. I personally, even though I do have idols, don't think that these idols are somehow superior to me. Now, they might be superior to me in certain things, like acting or writing books, like Stephen King, I'm going to admit is probably a better writer than me, So what she's saying just doesn't make any logical sense. And I don't fight for the equality of gay people to marry because I feel superior to anybody. I fight for the equality of gay people to marry because it's only fucking fair. In my opinion, and I know this has been said a million times, but in my opinion, if straight people have the right to be miserable in marriage, then fucking gay people should have the right to be miserable in marriage. That's my opinion. And then if you actually look at gay marriages, I'd say most of them, they're not fucking miserable.
If we feel superior to something else, we are not going to fight for equality. We don't actually care. In fact, you have to identify with the demographic that is currently being treated as inferior in order for you to care about the equality of that particular demographic.
Again, just pure bullshit that doesn't bear any merit to true reality. I do not identify with the demographic of a homosexual male. I'm a heterosexual male. I cannot identify with that. But that doesn't mean I can't fight for their equal right to marry.
In other words, you only care about equality because you don't want anything to be higher than you, or anything you identify with. Besides, I'm going to call out another human shadow. So often you see people who are in the superior position fighting for the equality of people who they believe to be inferior to them, only because they enjoy the superiority of their morality.
Take that, Nakasuchi. You only fight for those gay dudes' rights to marry because it makes you feel superior in your morality over others. Again, where the fuck are you getting this from? Where is your proof that that is true about me or anybody else fighting for the equality of human beings? You are injecting your own personal shit to create a truth that isn't a truth at all.
One of the hardest things about being a spiritual teacher is that we have to teach about the universe. The universe is multidimensional. And in a multidimensional universe, different truths exist at different dimensions in this universe. And often these truths are contradictory.
Now here, she's speaking some spiritual mumbo-jumbo, and she's actually talking about a scientific theory, but she's speaking it as if it is fact. And I'm not talking like theory of evolution, which has been proven to be fact. I'm talking, theory that the universe has got many dimensions, And, none of that's been proven. Where's your evidence of that? You're speaking of this as it's fact. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. I know it's a theory.
At the highest dimensional level of truth, we are all made out of the same energy, regardless of whether it's a table, or a person, or a dog, or a tree, or the bed you slept on last night. This means that ultimately, because you are made of the same energy, and that is imbued with the same collective consciousness, at that highest level, we're all one. So equality is a bit of an understatement.
And here's her second major justification against the fight for equality. And since we all come from stardust, we're all made of the same stuff, then we are all one. Completely denying the reality of human history. And that's where we're going to end this part 1 of our first look at Teal Swan. So, what am I going to take from this first part? She's very attractive. She exudes sexuality. She tries to exude intelligence. I think she fails at that. I think she's trying too hard. She talks a lot of spiritual mumbo jumbo. She tries to interject scientific theory as scientific fact. And she is in open opposition to equality. So until the next time, probably going to run part 2 right after this one. We'll see. But until the next time, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is The Raging Atheist. If you like my videos, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share me on your social media. Comment in the comments section below. I'll see you soon.